Hey, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Tuesday, January the 8th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And really, you can see what we had was we had a nice channel down here. We had a little bit of an overshoot and then a correction, and now we've overshot the upper side. And we may come back and test the low, but a lot of times when you get an overshoot like this, um, what you'll notice is that you may not get a retest. Prices will just reverse and continue higher. And so we'll have to see. It's the day's over anyway. It doesn't really matter. We'll start anew tomorrow. But just wanted to point that out. There weren't a lot of entries again today. There was a little more volume today. You can see there's more bars today. Here's the close from yesterday, and here's the close today. So everything in between there is what was happening. Was volume from for this day. So a little bit more volume. We had a pretty good move down and then a fairly nice move up. So there were some nice trades, and we'll go over each one. But there just weren't very many of them. So let's talk about the first trade. Prices opened up right in this area, right in here, and we were kind of working higher. But this is almost a trading range kind of deal. But we made a lower high here than here. Then we made a little double top on a lower high. And you should have had this trend line working off there, and this one came right off the trend line. Look at that big bearish bar. And you got to be thinking that we're going to test these lows and maybe come all the way down to test the lower trend channel. And that's exactly what we did. But that is a beautiful setup right there. Notice that there's a first entry long, a pullback, and then a second entry long that failed. Let me back out just so we can see a little better. And that's the perfect bearish bar. It went higher, touched that line, turned down and closed on its very low. You go short right there. Any runners were safe on this trade, and you could have ridden this all the way to the end. There's a possibility you might have tried to enter in here, but it was really risky because it's so close to this low. You might have entered here because this is really a breakout pullback short, and there's still room down to this next low. So I probably should have circled this one in green. I'll go ahead and do that because it's another nice setup right there. And so I'll just circle it in green just in case you want to come back and review this again. But that's another pretty bar. This one's much prettier with that bigger stem and closing on a low. But anytime you get a stem and a close on a low, that's a reversal type bar, and especially after that nicer bullish bar, it's a breakout pullback short. And so you could have entered again there possibly. This one was really risky even though it worked. And then you had a second entry short right here. This was a better entry. It's a two-legged pullback to the EMA and a market that's trending down. We haven't quite gotten to the possible lows down here. So this is a fairly good setup. There's very few two-legged corrections back to the EMA in a trending market, and this is definitely trending down, that don't at least go for a scalp. And this one went for a little more. Believe it or not, your runners actually would have survived if you held them, but I wouldn't have held any with the trend channel line being right here. And so nice setup. This was really tempted to take right here, but it failed. So if you got trapped in right here, you had to get out when this thing reversed. I almost took this trade, but notice that, and there is a little trap, but notice we don't really have a good solid double bottom. We finally got one right here, and then we got that tick lower and the reversal. And actually what I did was I dropped a limit order right here across these double bottoms. So I got long right there, one tick off the low. You can't do it any better than that. But when that reversed and closed on the high, you definitely wanted to consider going long there. And again, it could have turned out just like this one. You could have gotten trapped, and it almost looked like it was going to reverse, but when it couldn't here, it continued higher. And no runners off this. It was good. Your runners should have been good for 2 or 3, maybe 4 points, but it pulled back eventually, took them, and then that created this channel. What I did was I drew this line off these tops first, drug it down, so I knew to be expecting reversal here. And when we got this nice reversal set up right here, great place to go long. Again, you know, your runners were good for 3 or 4 points, maybe. Then you have your pullback, and then, but when you want to probably exit is once you get to this line right here. Each time you get to that line, you want to exit. Then it look another pullback, 2 legs back, nice reversal bar. This was a pretty setup right here. This is about as nice as you get in a channel in a trending market. You go long right there, and you exit when it touches the trend channel line on the other side, another 3 points or so, and then look what happens. It just turns and comes right back down again. And then another long, but it was after 2:30, so I didn't mark this one. But if, you know, if you're an aggressive guy and you still like to enter late, there was another chance to enter again right there. That's the first break of the trend, of this little trend channel working up. And very nice setup, very nice move. And that was really it for today. And so just remember those 2 legs to either side when you're trending and you get a 2-legged correction that comes back to the EMA or the trend line or both. That's where most of your setups are going to occur. And again, what you had a larger trend channel here, an overshoot, then a reversal, and you had a little small channel working back to the upper side there. So there weren't but 1, 2, 3, 4 really good trades, but there were 6 trades that I liked, and you might have found another one in there. And if you're a really aggressive trader, you might have gone short off the upper side each time, especially this one, since that was the first break of this trend channel. That was a really nice second entry short, so you might have even considered taking that short because it was a good setup. It was an overshoot of this bigger trend channel, but we had this overshoot down here, and a lot of times that's what will happen. So it may pull back and just test this trend line and then go higher again. So, but if you're aggressive and you get a second entry like that with a nice reversal bar, you almost have to take it. But it was late in the day, so I wasn't interested, and I was done by then. But anyway, hope everybody had a good trading day. I hope you're having a good start to the new year. I've had a couple of messages from people telling me that they've been doing really well, and I'm excited for them. But I've had other people say they've had a terrible 2 days since they came back. So those people, sometimes you get rusty. It's like anything, you know. If you don't do it for a little while, you get rusty, and you have to get back in the swing of it, especially mentally. So stay tough mentally. The main thing is remember to look for your trades at the key entry points. Where are those? And that's the strong support and resistance areas. And where are those? They're the trend lines and the strong support and resistance. It's horizontal. We really don't have any horizontal today. You might add some during the overnight portion right in here, but other than that, there really weren't any today. So because we trended down and then we trended up, and it's just overall this looks a lot like a range type day, and you probably could call this a range type day, but there's no strong support that you could continually trade, and there's no strong resistance. But when the entire market, there's only 46 to 56, it's about a 10-point range there for today, and we spent most of the time inside that 10 points, so along the median, which is right in here. And so, you know, it's basically a range day, but you got, you know, the trend always takes precedence, and we had this trend channel, and then we had this reversal here. So I'm going to wrap it up. It's kind of short today, but that's all we got. So this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.